This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boys. It sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
The Gulf South
to your corner of the world.
This is DX Central Live.
Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios in Mandeville, Louisiana. Back on our usual Sunday nights. Thank you all for joining us. Appreciate you being here on a nice, warm evening here in Louisiana. Hopefully you're having nice weather wherever you are. We got some storms moving in, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Possibly going to interrupt things just a little bit. Maybe. We'll see. See, last time we saw each other, we were doing DX tests, right? We had DX tests coming from Kentucky on 990 and 1150. We'll talk about that a bit. And let's see, what else do we have going on? Let's see, this week I was on the road. Actually, Rick, I was up in your neck of the woods. I was in Omaha, Nebraska. So I was there. I got there Tuesday night. Supposed to get there Tuesday afternoon, but Dallas is notoriously, for me, bad luck, right? And so when I'm flying through Dallas, I always have delays. Was supposed to be a 3-hour layover, turned to about 6, which isn't that bad in the grand scheme of things, but it was kind of not fun. So we sat there in Dallas for a bit, got to Omaha a little bit later than usual, brought my stuff with me, so I did record. We'll talk about that in a bit, kind of what I noticed from the little bit of listening I was able to do. Was there for a business trip for my day job. As most of you guys know, I work a day job as an account manager for a software company. So I was there doing some client meetings and whatnot. And when I landed on Tuesday, it was like 91 degrees in Omaha. Storms blew through. The tornado sirens were going off. My phone was going off. I was sitting in a bar watching one of the games. And, yeah, it was crazy just how intense the storms were. My first Midwestern storm. As a storm guy, I'd never actually experienced. I've done Dallas many times. But Midwest like that, kind of upper Midwest, had never experienced that. So that was fun. Woke up the next morning, there were snow showers, and it was like 32 degrees. 60 degrees almost drop in temperature within 12 hours. So, Rick, I don't know how you guys handled it. And the wind, when I was leaving on Thursday, actually kind of blew my suitcase over, almost blew me over standing outside waiting on the Uber to go to the airport. It was crazy. So, yeah, we did a little bit of recording this week while we were there in North Dakota. I heard South Dakota there on 570. We'll talk a bit about that. Some of the things that I heard. It wasn't great conditions, especially Tuesday night with the storms. So, yeah, kind of iffy there. And then the noise in the hotel room was kind of eh. So we'll talk a bit about that later on. But we're getting ready for some DX here tonight. So some live AM DX. Now, I do want to show you guys what we're kind of dealing with here storm-wise, because this may come into play this evening. So this is here in Louisiana where I am. This is going to come into play because we're going to have some pretty intense lightning crashes here, and that's going to make listening pretty difficult. I'm already kind of seeing it on my waterfall. As you'll see here, you see all the lightning crashes there. That's a lot of lightning crashes. That's a lot of lightning. And you can kind of see what we're up against here. We've got some mesocyclones. There's a tornado warning to my west up around, is that Woodville? Yeah. So we have some instances tonight where we have to kind of jump off of a little bit or cut a little early tonight. Depends on what we have going on. So we'll talk about that. All right. So yeah, we had a great week otherwise. Saturday night before I headed out of town, we had the big stuff with the DX test, WWKY up on 990, and then on 1150 WMST Mount Sterling, they're running 2.5K. WWKY was running about a 1K. I know a lot of you were here with us Saturday night for the live stream, and a lot of you guys heard both. Some only heard one. I don't think there were many, maybe some distant folks that didn't hear either. I was actually here in the shack with my Sony ICF 2010 in the middle of the noise core here, and could hear both DX tests on the portable here in the shack, so that was nice. So we'll talk about that, and we're going to talk about all of you guys who added some stuff this week of those DX tests, any DX you did, especially on our medium wave frequency challenge frequency of the week, 940. Hopefully you guys had a chance. I haven't had a chance to do anything. I logged before I left on Monday, or I guess I left Tuesday. Before I went to bed Monday, I did go in during the daytime and put in my local 940 station on, so I have one log. Maybe we'll get some stuff tonight. We'll see. Conditions probably not going to be super great with all the lightning up to our north. We'll take a look and see. Yeah, hopefully you had a great week with 940. This is a frequency I really wanted to spend some time with, but with work travels, and I didn't get back into New Orleans. I got back home Thursday night, Friday morning at a little around 2 o'clock in the morning. So my Friday was shot. Yesterday was just a relaxing day. I was trying to kind of recuperate a little bit, so haven't really had a time to do a lot of DX this week, unfortunately. All right, so you guys know what's coming up. We got top of the hour on the way here. Only 3 more episodes, including tonight, left in season 2 here. We'll be wrapping up May 1st, as you saw in the very energetic Mortal Kombat sounding promo that we had there at the beginning. So that's coming up around the corner again. May 1st will be our last edition for season 2, as we'll be kind of adjusting our view over to FMDX and what we're going to do there. But this weekly stream will wrap up for this season, at least, on May 1st. We're going to be kind of working behind the scenes, getting some stuff ready for season 3, which I'm very excited about. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun. So top of the hour is about here. Of course, you guys know what we'll be doing here. We'll be looking on the Perseus with our 2 CAS antennas. We have our CASs. I think they're still... Yeah, I think they're still in the south configuration. At least I know the southeast is still there. I think the northeast southwest is still in the northeast. I think I still have that there where my vactrol's on the back side. And then my north-south is still pointing south on that end. So we'll probably have to run out here in a bit and take those vactrols off if we start getting storms in the area within a couple, 4 or 5 miles, because they are a little sensitive to lightning. So we may have to do that a little bit later on to pull those out and replace those with some of our variable resistance boxes that we have built. So we can still DX there, possibly, unless it gets real close. But we just may not have the vactrols. All right, so top of the hour time frame is here, so you guys know we're working with the Perseus and the 2 CASs. We also have our RSPdx tonight with our north-south CAS. The ELAD, I don't have that up and running right now because I have to do some work on the W6LVP loop. And a little bit later on tonight, we're going to be talking about another addition to the shack that's coming here soon. But before we do, this first hour of live AMDX is brought to you by the International Radio Club of America, ircaonline.org. Let's do it, my friends. We are going red, top of the hour alert time here. Let's pull the Perseus up. We're going to go back to 940. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to try to do some work with some phasing to see if I can get rid of my local and see if we have anything coming in underneath here. So let's go. Here's my local.
Hello, this is Bishop Caldwell, and this is the Know Your Bible radio broadcast. The world needs Jesus.
First, let me see if I can
now
use
more
my
than ever
vactrals to kind of
before.
tune in
And
here.
you can help us to reach the world for Jesus Christ. I ask for you to pray for what the Lord will have you to do as it relates to financial support toward Know
All
Your
right, so
Bible.
this is my one pointing southeast
And then
roughly.
send your gifts of
Here's my
love
one
to
pointing
Know Your
northeast.
Bible. 7480 Greenwood Road, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71119.
Okay. And then
Know
here,
Your Bible, radio broadcast 7480
let me get my
Greenwood
phaser.
Road, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71119. We also welcome your prayer requests and your praise reports.
oof,
So until we meet again,
looking rough.
Know Your Bible, you pray for me and I'll be praying for you, and guess what? We'll all be.
Oh, wow. Yeah, those storms are absolutely brutal right now. I'll show you what we're working with on this side here. It's not a huge line either. It's just this one little line just to our northwest here. But they did put us in a severe thunderstorm watch earlier, so... And my location is right around in here. You see that little red dot right there? That's about where I'm at, so I may be getting this series of cells right in here. The one that's right there by Woodville right now is probably coming my way. Woof. That's just so much. It makes it so hard to DX. This is what I was up against Tuesday night in Omaha. This is what the band sounded like. I could hear nothing except for lightning crashes like this. Check it out over here on the SDR Console and RSPdx. Look at all the lightning crashes here. You can just see it bumping up and down. That's brutal. Here's what I'm gonna do. Gonna pop this here for a second. I'm gonna go out and unplug these vactrals because this is getting a little closer than I like to have to lightning being near those vactrals. I'm gonna go unplug those real quick, swap them out for my variable resistance boxes, and we'll be right back. right. So back. Let's take a pause. I know we had some folks joining kind of late here, or have joined since we stepped away for a second. So what I had to do is I had to go out and unplug my vactrol boxes. These are the outdoor units for my vactrols, and they are super sensitive to lightning. And it's usually within like a couple kilometers, 3, 4, 5 miles or so is when it kind of starts getting kind of a little sensitive. But you see what we got coming up here, and I usually kind of default to taking mine out early. I don't want there to be any chance of those suckers getting fried. So there we go. Right now, 940 is pretty much a mess. Let's go back over here now to the Perseus. So I replaced the vactrols with my homemade variable resistor boxes. I've got I've got a 1K, a 2K, and a 5K out there. And I kind of dialed them in to where I usually have them sitting for each of those antennas to try to get a decent null on the backside. It's not going to be ideal, but at least gives me something. So here's the northwest wire, which is pointing to the southeast right now. Here is the northeast wire, which is actually pointing northeast. I don't know why I'm trying to adjust my vactrols there. Not there. I'm not even connected. And then here we have our phasing. So the loud station you heard there is my local WYLD here in New Orleans. They're my local station. So not much I can do with them here now, especially without a vactrol and the static where it's at. I have heard another station here on 940 before. I have one other station. It's a station down in Mexico. Let me see, who was it? I think it was XEQ, I think were the call letters on that one. 940, if Mike's on, he'll know like instantly which one it is. Yeah, XEQ. Que Buena is their slogan down in Mexico. I have heard them before. So there you go. Hey, Earl. Welcome, my friend. So I'm not very optimistic here that we're going to be able to get much DXing done tonight. This is part of why I kind of wrap up the AM side of our live streams in 2 weeks, basically, because this kind of stuff will be much more frequent. I remember trying to do this last year in May, and there were several times I just had to pull the plug and not do the live stream because we couldn't, because it was nonstop static, kind of like what we have right now from the lightning crashes. So let's do this. Let's take a quick break. I want to check something on my side to see if I can try something here for us. And look at a couple of other little things. And if that's not going to work, we may wrap early tonight just because it's just so... I mean, again, look at the... this is a waterfall on the RSPdx. This is the north-south wire, which actually is pointing north. And you can see, I mean, the reason it looks like a grid is because you have all of our regular signals vertical, and then all the horizontal lines, these are all lightning crashes. And again, this is why... Did I close that? No, I didn't. This is why. This is what we got coming. So... there you go. I may try something else here, though, to see if we can get something else to work. But stay tuned. We'll be right back. More DX Central Live right after this.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
From the pages of its DX Monitor member bulletin, members of the International Radio Club of America share their domestic and international AM/DX loggings. In its Mexican log, a wealth of information can be found of stations from south of the border. Technical guides, sunrise, sunset maps, and more make the IRCA a must-join for any AMDXer. For more information, log on to ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org. While the HF bands can be filled with entertaining and intriguing transmissions, how do you know when and where to look? Let Teague Publishing's Global Radio Guide lead the way. In addition to its exhaustive list of time and frequency for international broadcasters, radio hobby icon Gail Van Horn brings you equipment reviews, an SDR buyer's guide, feature articles, and more. Pick up your copy today. Visit teaguepublishing.com for more information. That's teaguepublishing.com. Since 1933, the National Radio Club has been serving AMDXers while providing some of the most in-depth information in the hobby. From the annual NRC AM log, a must-have reference for domestic station information, to antenna design reference manuals, and of course, the DX News Member Bulletin, which is filled with station information updates, domestic and international loggings, and a whole lot more. Become a member today. For more information, log on to nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central.
With DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live from our North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana. And tonight, the man in Mandeville stands for man. Storms are getting crazy. So I'm keeping an eye on those. I'm also looking because, this is a front coming through, right? So I'm also keeping an eye on our VHF propagation map in the hopes that maybe we could at least have some sort of option for maybe some FMDX or something like that. Maybe some Tropo here along the coast. But it doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like there's much options for any FMDX going on here right now. So, yeah. And again, just as a reminder of what we're dealing with, for those who might have joined a little late, listen here. Rick, yeah, that's the APRS VHF propagation map. I keep an eye on it, mostly for it's great for tropo openings. It's not super helpful for E. It can help a little bit, but it can be a really nice little barometer of what's happening on a tropo opening. So let me like zoom in up here for where you're at. Nothing. Maybe a little bit of something up here in South Dakota. Some little moderate range, average kind of tropo enhancement for those regions right there, but nothing from where you're at there. Keegan, let me look for you in Arkansas. Maybe a little bit to your, I think you're up here around Fort Smith, if I remember right, up in this corner. So to your southwest, there's a little something there. It's also building up here into Tennessee, Kentucky. Allen over in Georgia, you might have some options here. I mean, these aren't like tremendous. It's just little mini pathways. Most of this is ahead of the front, though, which is what I was hoping, that we'd get a little enhancement here ahead of the front, but it doesn't look like we are. So there you go. Let's talk about that, actually, since the conditions are so horrible right now. Let's talk about FMDX. All right. Let's talk about what tools we use here for FMDX. We'll do a little FMDX preview. How about that? And then we'll check back in here again on the AM side here in a bit and see how the conditions sound, because it's just right now it's just static crashes from lightning. So, all right, FMDX season, Tropo season is basically here for many who live in coastal areas, the Gulf Coast, the East Coast, even some of the West Coast folks, I think, get in a little bit of Tropo, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I looked at it, but Gulf Coast, East Coast, definitely right now. This is prime time for Tropo, because what you basically have to have for Tropo is normally as you go up in altitude, the temperature goes down, right? The temperature goes down as you go up. With the tropo opening, what happens a lot of times is you get an inversion layer where it's actually colder at the surface. You have warmer air above. That kind of traps the cold air. What happens when you have warm air and cold air next to each other? Condensation happens. Like, you know, when you look at like a water bottle here, the cold is in here, the warmer is out here. I got condensation happening, right? This is an inversion layer where normally here it would be cold up here and then warmer down here at the surface. Well, this is the surface now, and then the warmer air is up above it. Because of that, you get this little inversion, and it actually kind of fast tracks FM signals to propagate much further than they usually do. It's a little called a tropospheric duct, because there along the tropospheric layer of the atmosphere, it basically creates this inversion layer when the conditions are right to shoot those FM signals down that duct layer and allow them to come out the other side much, much further than those signals normally do. So there you go. That's one option for FM season DX, especially this early part of the season. Real E-skip season begins probably late May, June, July. Depends on kind of when it kind of kicks in. Last year it started, I think, really got going in May, especially later May. And then June, July were just unbelievable. The year before that, I don't think it ever got going at all. I remember I had no E-skip going in 2020. It was a horrible, horrible year for E-skip. So let me show you guys. So here's the one that I look at here. If you Google APRS Minno, see, I'm trying to squint here to see it. APRS Minnolink, that's 2 N's, minnolink.org. You can also just look up VHF propagation map, and that will take you right to it. So this is a great one for FM Tropo. And you'll see here, like here, they have a little bit of an instance. And what this is, in case you're not familiar with the APRS map, is these are amateur radio operators who use automatic position reporting, packet radio, basically. And so let's say I throw my signal up here in New Orleans and somebody over in Tallahassee sees it. Well, guess what? Now I know there is propagation between New Orleans and Tallahassee on the VHF, because normally Tallahassee can't see New Orleans. It's too far. So that's where this kind of really gets going here. On the coastline is when these start kind of seeing each other over here in Florida up into where I am in the Gulf Coast here in the Central Gulf Coast or into Texas, or here where I'm at in New Orleans area down into Mexico, things like that. You get these conduits. It can be something very basic. It can be like a couple 100 miles. Like, if I hear Mobile, I know I've got enhancement. It's not like a huge opening, but I've got some enhancement to my normal conditions because of tropospheric conditions that allows me to hear Mobile, Eastern Florida, which I don't normally hear on any given day if I just flip on the FM radio. So that's one thing you can do. So like over here on the East Coast, when I was in Charleston, we used to get down here into Jacksonville. If I heard Jacksonville, I knew I was getting a tropospheric opening. If I was hearing up into Wilmington, over here into the eastern part of North Carolina, I knew I was getting some enhancement as well. Those were the most common ones for me. As far as down as like Orlando, maybe a little bit south of Orlando, I did have one opening that got me all the way. It was Tropo all the way down into Miami, which was a nice opening for me here. So, yeah, something for you to check out. And if you have an evening where basically you're going to get some fog, especially that fog that kind of burns off after the sun rises in the morning and all the layers of the atmosphere kind of heat up now evenly. Those kind of foggy mornings like that, flip on your FM radio and see what you got, because you might have some tropospheric ducting going on. So this is one tool that you can use for tropo spotting. It's not perfect, it's not ideal, and Bill actually just mentioned this when we think of it. It's not perfect, it's not ideal, because this is tropo conditions for amateur radio 2-meter band, which is 144 megahertz, a little bit above the FM band. The FM band being a low at 88 to 108 megahertz. You can get different conditions at different frequencies on tropo sometimes. Sometimes you can see tropo on FM when you're not seeing it here, and vice versa. You can have tropo here, where I've had it many times here. There's people in Florida seeing all the way into Texas. I'm like, oh, we got an opening. I go there, nothing, absolutely nothing. So it's a guide, as Bill put it here in his chat comment. It's a guide, but it's not an absolute. It's something that you can use. So again, if you just Google VHF propagation map, the APRS map is what you're kind of looking for here, and this can help you out. And it's not just US, by the way. If we have any of our international DXers, if there are places that use APRS, it'll also show for you as well. If your country is not, hams are not using APRS, then you're probably not going to be able to use it very much. But I know over in Europe, I have seen over here, like you see right here, between Portugal here and in the Morocco, they're getting some conditions here. You see some here between France and Spain. So these are some little light tropo openings. Obviously, it's getting close to being sunrise there. It's 1:23 Zulu, I guess close is relative here because we're about 4 hours away from sunrise. So they have probably some nice inversion layers going on over there right now in Europe. So that's why they're seeing it. We are not seeing that here. This usually when tropo really gets going, if it's a super great tropo opening, I've had those that last for a couple of days, right? Yeah, I mean, it gets strong and then it gets a little bit weaker, but it's still there, right? And then it gets super strong at night. I mean, I've had them the last couple of days like that. But normally I see the best tropo is usually between 10, 11 o'clock at night and about 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock. Right before sunrise. So once sunrise comes in, that heating starts coming in and heating all those layers of the atmosphere, starts to slowly burn off that tropo. But this is, one thing that we're looking forward to here for FMDX season. This is one tool that you can use. Another thing that you can use, obviously, this is the one that's big for me, is FM List. So if I go here to fmlist.org, if you do any FMDX this season, please, 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 I beg every time I talk about this, please use FM List when you're logging what you're hearing. And this is why. You're about to see why. Because if I go over here, I'm just going to log in myself. Take a sip of water. Actually, I don't even have to be logged in to do this, actually. Let me just show you what I'm talking about here. I'm still logged in, so I need to close that and then do this incognito this way. You don't even have to log in to do what I'm about to show you here. You don't have to have an account. But FM List gives you an option to be able to see if there's an opening going on. And here's what I mean by that. Let me go up here, and I just want to change this to English so it's easier for me to read. And what I'm looking for here is this one right here, Visual Logbook, Propagation Maps and Statistics. So I click on that, okay? FM List, if you log what you're hearing, I can go in here into this Visual Logbook. Okay, I just clicked on the link where it said Visual Logbook. And any DXer who's logging what they're hearing, you're going to see that here. Okay, you're going to see what they're hearing on this map. Now, there are options here. I can look at the last 30 minutes. I can look at the last hour. Let's see if anyone's heard anything here. Nothing in the U.S. in the last hour. Let's look at the last 6 hours. Somebody's got to do something in DX. Okay, we got a DXer up here in the Maritime provinces that was hearing into like Quebec, down into, what's that, Labrador down here? Nova Scotia. So yeah, you see here where this DXer, you can actually see what they heard, and you can click on it here, and you can see who the DXer is. If they put their name out there, you can see all the logs by that DXer. You can see what stations they were hearing if you follow those links over, and the colors will tell you how long ago it was since they heard it. I'm trying to think when it was. I had a little FM Tropo opening here, but anyway, because it's a good thing to look at my logs. But this will show you. Here's somebody over here in Europe. This is a good representation. Europe. Seems they always get on this FMDX stuff way before we do here in the U.S. because of conditions kind of opening up for them. So here's a DXer over here in Europe. You can see everything they heard here. This is Elvas in Portugal. You can see all the Portugal stations that they heard here along the coastline. So this is a fantastic way to spot openings, whether it's Tropo or eSkip. But what it relies on is you as a DXer submitting your logs. So how do you do that? Let me show you. Once you do need an account to do this, so you create an account, you log in, go to MyFM, and we have videos about this up here on the DX Central YouTube channel, so make sure you check those out. If I go to 101.1, what it's going to do is going to give me a list of stations that it thinks I'm hearing on 101.1. Now here I have a local here on this frequency. Let me go up a couple just to give you a good example. So that's too easy for it because I have a local. I shouldn't have chosen that frequency. Here we go. So I've got one here in Baton Rouge. There's a low power station here. There's another Baton Rouge station. There's a couple in Pensacola here in Florida. So it's going to tell me based on what I tell it. If I say, hey, I'm getting some Tropo, if I click on this little button here that says Tropo, it's going to tell me what it thinks I'm hearing based on the conditions. Now, if I click eSkip, it's going to give me a whole new set. Now it's saying, hey, you may be hearing probably Nashville, depending on what direction your eSkip is. Here's Nashville, here's Arkansas, here's Texas, and things like that. So it's going to give me options, right, that maybe I'm hearing if I have an eSkip opening. We're going to talk about that here in a bit, though, the difference on those eSkip openings and how you can kind of spot those. But yeah, this will actually, if I click on Tropo here, it'll give me a list of what it thinks I'm hearing. And I've found it's pretty good. And I'm looking at this. If what I'm hearing is not my local Baton Rouge country station, let's say I was hearing rock and roll here on this frequency. Well, I know local Baton Rouge is country. New Orleans station, the low power station here is as a religious station. But if I'm hearing rock and roll, guess what? Active Rock, Pensacola, probably who I'm hearing, and TK 101 is someone that I've actually heard here on a Tropo opening in that direction. So there you go. This FM list one, and when you do find it, so let's say I was hearing TK 101 here. If I go over here to the far left and I can see where it says L right here, if I click on that L, it'll pull up a log screen. Then I tell it what form of propagation it is that I'm hearing. And then I put in any notes. I get that in the RDSD code with the code or whatever it comes in. If you did, mark that as yes. And then you hit submit. And now that will appear on the map. I'm not going to do it, obviously, because I'm not hearing that. But that will appear on the map. And again, this is how all of us as an FMDX community can help each other by being able to share what we're hearing, so that if you're hearing something, I'm looking here and I go, hey, Keegan up to the north of me here in Arkansas is hearing something, where I've got a guy over here in Baton Rouge that does a lot of FMDX. I've actually said before, oh, wow, he's getting some good DX right now. I need to go look, and then I do, and I get some stuff off of that. I kind of look at some of the stations that he's hearing. I go see if any of those are being received here, if I'm hearing them. And if I am, great, I'll log them. If not, maybe I'm hearing something a little bit different, you know? So that is a great way for you to be able to spot openings, is looking at the FM list map. But again, we need everyone logging in and putting their submissions in, so that that map will have something to populate. If you're just putting it in your logbook at home and you're not sharing it with the rest of us, you're getting a great bunch of DX that someone else can maybe be able to be notified about, and we're not knowing about it maybe because, you know, we're not seeing it. So it just kind of helps everyone to kind of see. So please, 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 please log your DX on FM this season here on fmlist.org, because it is a really huge help for all of us. This one right here, you see ESA. There's a video here up on the DX Central YouTube channel, youtube.com/c/DX Central. Let me just type it in here. You'd think I'd have my own channel bookmarked, but apparently I don't. All right. So if you go here to our YouTube channel here, DX Central Live, and you can search on the channel for sporadic. Just type in the word sporadic. You're going to see a couple of different ones here. We have actual sporadic E air checks that I've caught over the years. You're going to see a visual representation of a sporadic E opening. So we're going to talk about that here in a second. You see that little map that shows up there. But one of the ones that we have here, just got to search for it. Oh, here it is. How to spot an E-skip opening on the FM band. You can just search for that if you want to. How to spot an E-skip opening on the FM band. And what this video actually walks you through are all the techniques that I use to help me spot an FM opening on E-skip. It talks about using FM list, and what we're going to see here, I'm going to play a little bit of it, is there's actually a feature on FM list that will send you an alert and then give you a visual representation of that E-skip opening, so that you can try to figure out for that opening where the DX may be coming from for you. Because that's important, because if I'm in New Orleans and I'm hearing into Michigan, then somebody to my east, let's say in Georgia, Allen, and over in Georgia, if he's getting that same sporadic E cloud, he's going to be hearing something on the other side of the E cloud from him. I'm looking north, he's going to be looking towards the west. So it's usually going to be a direct dissection between you and that cloud, and you're going to get what's on the other side of you. Normally, not always, but normally that's what you're going to get, is some kind of, depending on the shape of the cloud and how it kind of works, you're going to be getting something on the opposite side of where you are from that cloud. And FM list actually has a way for you to kind of visually see where the cloud is. You can have a lot of clouds like we did last year once during a couple openings where there were a bunch of clouds, E-skip clouds that were opening up. And so it kind of got convoluted. And so I was hearing both North and South Dakota and Maine at the same opening at the same time. That was crazy. So it can happen that way. But here you go. This is a video that I did here this year. We'll play a little bit of this now. This is how to spot an E-skip opening on the FM band. So we're going to do that here. We're going to look at a couple of the different techniques that I use, and then talk a bit about some of the other ones that I know some other folks use as well. Now, there are no right or wrong answers here. There are probably so many other techniques that are out there that are being used to identify an E-skip opening or a tropo opening. I'm going to fast forward just a little bit here. And be able to share what you're hearing with DX. Let's go here. It says select log period, and then I have a list of options. I usually keep mine. There's things like last 5 minutes, last 30 minutes, last hour, last 2 hours, last 3 hours. I usually keep mine at either 5 minutes or 15 minutes. It just depends on if I'm looking for an opening or if I'm in the middle of an opening.
Sometimes I'll go between the two. But what I'm looking for here is kind of recent activity to get an idea of what's going on. So let me go over here and show the last 30 minutes as an example, because we've had some activity. And this DCS basically it's a donut. What happens is if you are, let's say we have this DXer here up in New England, in the US, right here. You can tell because they have a little black antenna look to it right here. That is a receiving location. And then you have this orange FM on the other end. That's the station that person logged. The line between them indicates the path that reception took. There's a color coding down here at the bottom of the map that can give you an indication of the MUF. Depending on what the color of the line is, will tell you what the MUF of that particular catch was. And so in this case, when you have one of those receptions, this donut basically creates, this donut is created that basically it draws a line directly through the middle of that donut between you and the station that you received. And so then from that, it extrapolates out, how far is that away from you? And then from that, it says, okay, everyone who's in this green area here should be able to hear something in there. And more than likely, like let's just pretend it was this other little black antenna right here, this other receiving location, it would be the same thing. I'd be going straight through that donut, and anything on this end over here is what I would expect this person over here by Philadelphia, New Jersey, I would expect them to be able to hear something in Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, that area there. Now, that can be off to the side a little bit. It could be maybe something over here, maybe something over here. Or you see this case where you have this person in New England hearing out west, you have this person to their south hearing up to the northeast. So it just depends on what's being heard. And this is why FM List is so important, that we all are helping out and logging what we're hearing on FM List. That way you share that data in real time, and we can all see that and get ideas of what the propagation is doing. Because essentially what this donut is trying to do is guess where the E-skip cloud is based on what you're hearing. And the more of these logs that you're putting into FM List, the more accurate you're going to get on that cloud. You'll start to see this big, huge white donut. You'll have another donut kind of over here, another donut over here, and kind of start stacking on top of each other. You'll notice a little clearing kind of like right up in here. That's the one area where there's not any green. Well, guess where your cloud is, right? So in this case, it looks like we have two clouds that are kind of in play. One here between New Jersey and up into Canada, and this one between New England and Missouri. So that's kind of what's happening there. So this is how one of the ways that I can look at this website, go to fmlist.org, click on that visual map, load up the last 30 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it might be, and I can see a visual of these E-skip openings with these donuts. And I can approximate now, my location here in Charleston says that I should be able to DX off of this E-skip cloud that's right here in this general area, and I would expect to be hearing something in the Michigan, Wisconsin, Ontario area. That's where
Okay, so we'll stop right there for a second. So I just want to kind of show you guys this. This is when we're looking at FM List for E-skip. This is one of the more important tools that I think are kind of helpful for a lot of us, because you've got that everything that's in that green. Anyone who's in that green area that you see there, in theory, should be having E-skip conditions available to them, right? Anyone who's in that white kind of center area there may or may not, depends on if there's another E-cloud that's impacting them at all. But typically, because anything in that part in the white's going to be in the middle under the E-cloud, and you're too short for E-skip usually in those situations. So anyone in the green part of the donut should be getting something E-skip. And if the cloud is there in the middle where that hole is, then it's wherever you are in that green, it's going to be on the opposite side. Again, typically, and it may branch out a little bit, but typically, if I'm looking here and let's say I'm in Atlanta, then I would expect to be hearing something up in here into Ontario and Quebec and into Canada, right? So I just wanted to show you guys this. For anyone who's not using FM List, this is a great reason why. And we're actually going to talk about here now. Let me see if I can get this next part kind of queued up here. Wow, look at this opening here. Look at that. I mean, that was one day during this last summer. That was one day, and not just me. Obviously, there's other DXers in here, but that was one day, and you can see very clearly with all these green lines here. It was crazy. It was a crazy day that day. There's another option here that I want to make sure you guys are aware of. Let's talk about. I actually go in on this video. I'm not going to play all of it. In this video, I talk about using your SDR waterfall to help you see an opening and what the difference is between an opening and a non-opening on your waterfall and how that can be helpful. And then let me see. Where is the ESA alert? Or the ES alert? Here, I'll just do it live. So if I'm here on FM list, you'll see here where it says here ESA is on. Click on yours. Might, if you're already subscribed, you already know what I'm talking about. But yours, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's going to say ESA is red, or is off, and it's going to be in red right here. I didn't know about this at first. Click on this, and then it says, "Would you like to start the e-alert service for this location?" Hit yes, okay. And then it's going to say, "Awesome, we've sent a confirmation to your email address." And then now you're going to get email alerts. And this last summer, I would get them. It was like, there is a possible e-skip opening in for your location, and it'll tell you how many different directions are within that. And you start seeing, I mean, there was some that was like 4, 5, 6, you know, you're getting a little bit of conditions. There was some where I was saying 20, 30, 40 different directions. So it's like all these different ones, all these different people are seeing E's, and those paths were crossing over top of me. I was in the green part of the donut for a ton of these different ones. And man, you start seeing stuff like that, like 20, 30 or so different directions. Go run to your radio because you're getting an opening and you're going to have conditions and you don't want to miss it. So that is a great one that you can check is by using this eSkip alert, email alert. And I just made sure that I put the notification on my phone so that the email would come in. I'd be alerted on my phone to know when those were coming in. And I'd see it say, you have a possible eSkip opening. And it was amazing. It was an absolute amazing tool for me to use. So definitely recommend doing that. I don't remember, Rick, what date that was from. Let me go back and see if I can find that here.
Might have been 27th. Let me look real quick.
Is that June 26th?
It'll take it a second to load. Probably because there are people right now logging in and logging their loggings.
Yep,
So
June
that's good.
26th. June 26th was that day. That was a fun day. July 14th, Bill, was another one. I think that was one that I had down into Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Cuba that day, July 14th, around that area, because that's my birthday. And so on my birthday, I remember getting like a ton of like Latin FM DX. And you guys know me, Latin American DX anyway is like, but to get it on FM was just like, whoa, crap. So yes, I highly recommend and request that all of us use FM List this year. That is a great tool for being able to use to spot eSkip openings, Tropo openings, especially these eSkip openings if you have the alerts and you can see the donuts on the propagation map. But definitely go up now if you're not familiar with FM List. Go up now to fmlist.org. Familiarize yourself with the website. The first thing that I ask that you do, I'm going to go ahead and put this in English here, Ian. Create a login for yourself. And this right here, this visual logbook, it's under FM List Statistics Logbook and RSS feeds. There's some other ones here. You can get RSS feeds for Tropo, for eSkip, for Meteor Scatter. You can do all those kinds of things as well. But I just kind of look at the map. And then once I'm on this page, I scroll down and you see where it says right here, Visual Logbook 2022-04-18. Click on that. And then I look for anything that's there. And if I come over here and I see those donuts like I saw on the map earlier, hey, let me actually see here. Now that I got this pulled up, Let me go back to that opening on July 14th of last year and see if I can see it here. Because that was pretty crazy. It was around the 14th. So let's look here. July 14th, 2021. It's going to take it a few to load here because I got so many different programs open. In case you're watching this and wondering why we're not live DXing right now, if you were not here earlier, well, this is my RSPdx right now on my Northern CAS. You can see the grid layout on the waterfall here. You see how the spectrum analyzer keeps jumping? Well, there you go. This is why. We've got some nasty nasties heading this way, and it's just been lightning crashes nonstop. And I can show you. If you don't believe me, that's a local station. It's a station in New Orleans. Just getting obliterated by the lightning. So this was July 14th of last year. Look at that. That is, every time you see one of those little orange FMs, that was a radio station logged by a DXer on July 14th, 2021. You can actually, you can see the outline of the state of Florida. Okay, this wasn't my Puerto Rico. That was another, I think it was around there. But let me see if I can sort through all this here. I have to zoom in a little bit. Absolutely, Rick. That's exactly what we have right now. Is we have frying bacon out there, which is why we're going to be wrapping up the live streams for the season here pretty soon. All right, so let me just zoom in here a bit. I think that's mine. There. Oops. I think that's me. Nope, that's my buddy Joe. This was me. Nope, that's one of the FMs. It gets kind of hard here on the after the fact. I probably could just pull up my logs, but here I am, Lloyd Van Horn, Charleston. So this is what I heard on this day. It wasn't a lot, but we did hear up into the Northeast, New England, Quebec, Maine, up in here, some Ontarios, Minnesota, Wisconsin, South Dakota. So this was on the 14th last year on my birthday. I think it was, I want to say the 21st. It was around here somewhere that I had Puerto Rico. Was that you? Let's go back to that 14th. Here, Bill, our Michigan friend, says that he was on the West Coast on the 14th. Let's take a look. Let's see what Bill saw. This is one of the greatest tools for a DXer, right? And as long as we're all logging, we can do this. So is this you here, Bill? Aptus? Or was it up here in the Northwest? Oops. There we go. See if this was you. There was one station, Nebraska. Nice. Let's go back to that 626. That was another good one. Oh, I know how I can find what date that opening was for Puerto Rico. Let me go back to my channel again. I have an air check here from Puerto Rico. From FM, I can find it that way. You know, I know we're about 10 minutes from top of the hour here, so we might take a quick break here in a second and then go check conditions, because I do want to do some checking for our new frequency of the week, which I'll announce here in just a few moments as well. our new medium wave frequency challenge, frequency of the week. Okay, so if I come over here to my channel and I search for Puerto Rico, maybe I don't have it uploaded. FM air checks from Charleston. So it would have been on this list. And it would have been... I don't think I've reordered it since I did that. Washington. Here it is. IOB.
Somos Puerto Rico, Z93.
Plus.com/PPV. The prelims starting.
Ave María, qué lindo le quedó ese tema.
13.
Bruno Mars. Y lo escuchas hoy martes en Magic 97.3, 99.5. ¿Cómo va esa mañana? Yo espero que bien. Estás acompañado de tu vida en música. Además, hoy va a ser un gran día, porque así lo decides tú. No lo puede decir nadie. Esa es la actitud tuya.
Somos Puerto Rico, Z93.
So there you go. That's an E-skip opening right there. That's what an E-skip opening can sound like. That kind of just in and out. Trompo, much more stable. Much more stable. E-skip is going to be much more sporadic, as it were. That's why it's called sporadic E. This was the 13th. This was the day I got Puerto Rico. You can see mine. Oh, I'm not. You can't see where I'm pointing, can you? I think somewhere in here is where I heard Bermuda as well. I think it was closer to August, though. It was one of the last catches I had for the season. But again, you can see, like, here's the coastline. Here's the very clear outline of Florida and into the Gulf Coast. That's how many stations were being logged. I mean, that's an insane opening. Europe was going through the same thing. I mean, they just had a massive opening. This was a crazy. I can't even begin to tell you how. I mean, I still have recordings from that E-skip opening last year. I haven't even touched yet. I need to go through. Like that one, this one here from the 13th is one I need to go back through again, because I know there are stations in the Dominican Republic and Haiti that I did not log yet that were there. I was like, okay, I gotta go back to that one. I have to go back to that one. I just couldn't keep up because it was just so intense. It was crazy. So, you know, definitely if you have a chance to get in the SDR before the FM season starts, I recommend it. A lot of these Puerto Ricos here, it wasn't just me. I was not the only one hearing them, but there were a lot of people that were. There's my buddy Joe. I think that one right there is me. Nope. Zoom in a bit more. Just show you. I mean, this shows you what is possible from an E-skip opening. That's Joe. Mine's right there. Yep. Yeah, Bill, last season was crazy. And so you can see here, when I talk about sometimes it's like just out of nowhere. Yeah, I was getting all this Puerto Rico in here. I had this at the same time on the Yucatan, off to the west, southwest rather, right, from Charleston. So I had this nice opening in my southeast, this nice opening here briefly into Yucatan. I had a little bit up here to the northeast, and then look at this out west. It was crazy. It was all happening at once. And I remember there was one opening I was sitting there listening to North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, and then it was like it was French started popping in. I was like, is that Quebec? And then it was Quebec. And then go back to a little bit more Iowa, Nebraska, things like, and then the station doing sports talk in Maine or up in New Hampshire or something. It was just, and you'd see the RDSD code come in for, you know, a station in Nova Scotia or something, and then boom, there's South Dakota again. It was just, it was so much going on. There were so many clouds. It was so much fun. So I know, you know, we're getting close here to the end of season 2 here of our DX Central log, DX Central Live rather. talking mostly about AMDX, but whereas DX Central, we support FM as well. And, really any DX, to be honest with you, but FM and AM especially. And so I cannot wait for FM season. So I implore you, if you have not done a lot of FMDX, like I didn't for a long time. I was always busy working like 10 meters and 6 meter amateur radio. If they're open, I was trying to work that stuff. But man, FMDX season is so much fun. You can have a ball. You don't need anything super sophisticated. You need an FM radio. If you can get an outdoor antenna, great. You can build one. I got one I built last year that works fantastic. Gave one to my dad. He just said he was hearing stuff from his house in basically almost Tennessee and Georgia and over to Winston-Salem with that little loop antenna that I built sitting on the ground. And so if the conditions are there, they're there. So we'll talk a bit more about that over the next couple of weeks as we get ready to ramp down. Let's take a quick break. We're going to come back and we're going to check our new frequency of the week and see if conditions have improved enough to allow us to do anything there. Although I can see some flashes of lightning out there, and I think I just heard some thunder. So we'll be right back, though. More DX Central Live coming up.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
From the pages of its DX Monitor member bulletin, members of the International Radio Club of America share their domestic and international AMDX loggings. In its Mexican log, a wealth of information can be found of stations from south of the border. Technical guides, sunrise, sunset maps, and more make the IRCA a must-join for any AMDXer. For more information, log on to ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org. Since 1933, the National Radio Club has been serving AMDXers while providing some of the most in-depth information in the hobby. From the annual NRC AM log, a must-have reference for domestic station information, to antenna design reference manuals, and of course, the DX News member bulletin, which is filled with station information updates, domestic and international loggings, and a whole lot more. Become a member today. For more information, log on to nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live here from the North Shore Studios in Mandeville, Louisiana. And we're getting ready for the top of the hour here, so let's go ahead and do the damn thing here. Top of the hour alert time, and we're going to our new frequency of the week. What's it going to be? What's it going to be? What do you think? I'm building the suspense here with a dark screen. So we did 940. We wrapped that up. It's going to be, and I'm recording it right now, so we're going to go back here in a second and check. I know we're at the top of the hour. I know. But I'm recording it so we can go back and see what's there. 12:30, my friends. We're going back to the graveyard. Another trip into the bone zone. Let's see what we had here, top of the hour here from 12:30. I do have a local station on this frequency in New Orleans, WBOK, who has one of the greatest jingles I've ever heard in my entire life. It's also up on the YouTube channel if you want to check it out. Let's see if we have anything from them here, or if we're getting something else, or if we're just getting lightning crashes, which it looks like probably, yeah. And this was on my... Oh, wow. Let's try here on the Northeast.
Meaning holding valid to this stuff. So Crowder's third. And so here's some good news. That's the fourth team foul on the Suns. Now, is that good news for the Pelicans? For 3 of 7.
Oh, yeah, we're in the middle of the game right now.
Going to check out. Booker in. Oh, joy. Cam Johnson also in for the Suns.
What's the score?
Inbound to Valanciunas straddling the three-point arc left wing. Back to Jose. Jose goes left baseline. Picked up by Bridges. Still dribbling. Back out now, top of the key. Slides back into the paint. Shovel to Jonas Bridges. Don't attempt block.
We might get an ID here. It's probably going to be WBOK then. My local here.
That's a good, well, it expired after he comes down with it and dunks it.
Yeah, that's our local.
It might be, what?
That's WBOK. I can tell because they got louder when I put on my Southeast wire, which is pointing right at them. So we've got our local WBOK so far here on 12:30, but I want to do some prowling here with my phasing, some sunset, sunrise. It's going to be, as usual, graveyard at sunset, sunrise. You never know. Even with a local, you can get rid of those locals a lot of times with, some nulling with your antenna, if you turn your loop or if you turn your radio. If you have a phaser or a vactrol at your disposal, something along those lines, you have a good shot there of being able to get rid of these local graveyarders. Even in Charleston, with a portable radio, I could null out my locals that I had there in Charleston on, I think it was like 1340 was one of them. I think there was one on 1450 as well. I could get them pretty good. And then with a little bit of a fade at the top of the hour, and some sunset, sunrise conditions, you never know what you're going to be able to pick up. So 12:30 is our frequency of the week. I'm about to go put it up here on our Twitter account. For those of you who are following us on Twitter, if you're not, recommend that you do. Twitter.com/DX Central. That's where we're about to post the link for the Google form here in a few moments. I'm also going to put it up on the usual Facebook groups as well. I put it on the chat right now, but I'm not in the chat. I don't have that up and running right now. So I'll put it up on the usual Facebook groups. I'll put it up on my Twitter account. Don't forget also to subscribe here to the channel if you haven't done so already. Give us a thumbs up and a comment, rather. Thumbs up and a comment if you like what you're seeing here. Let us know what you think and how we're doing. Love to hear that. And also, don't forget about our website, dxcentralonline.com. That's our website with more information about DXing in general. If you're new to DX, if you've been DXing for a bit and wanted some tips or tricks, want some things to kind of help you out a bit, well, check us out, dxcentralonline.com. So, I'll put that up on Twitter right now. Here in a second, the new Google form link, and I'll go put it on the Facebook groups and on the IRCA email reflector, along with a couple of others as well. So we're going to go ahead and cut it short tonight because we got these storms coming. I need to unplug the rest of the gear here, make sure that all the window stuff's undone, that we don't have anything get ruined. Got to go walk the dog before the storms hit. You know how it goes. So we're going to do that real quick. 12:30, my friends. Go have fun with it. It's another one of those great graveyard frequencies that you can really, really sink your teeth into, hopefully, unless you're Rick and have a local where you're going to be. Have fun. Good luck with that, my friend. 73, my friends. Best of DX. Please stay safe. Take care. We'll see you next time. I'm gonna put the link for the Google form. Go ahead and put that in the chat real quick. Hold on. I don't want you guys to not have it. I just swap computers over here so I could do this. That's not the right one. That's not the right YouTube thingy. Switch account, please. To that's it. DX Central. So we're gonna go ahead and put this up here for you guys in the chat to Rooney. Go live. There you go. There's the Google form link, my friends. Enjoy 73. Take care and stay safe. Talk to you soon.